How to get rid of dark underarms without exfoliating, because you probably shouldn't be exfoliating your underarm areas. In order to talk about what can be done, we have to talk about why underarm darkness happens. And it doesn't just happen in the armpits, sometimes it also happens on the backs of the knees or the groin. What's unique about pigmentation in the underarm area is that it's usually caused by hormones. Most pigmentation is prevented by sunscreen, especially if you have melasma, even freckles, or age spots, hyperpigmentation from acne, or other discoloration on the skin. But under the armpits, there's really not much sunlight here. So what is causing all of this pigmentary irritation? Often it is hormones, or it could even be chafing. If you think about how we use our arms in these specific joint areas, they can get a little bit irritated, and that irritation can lead to inflammation, and the inflammation can lead to pigmentation. And when people see this, a lot of people reach for acids. They think that exfoliating the area will be helpful. And for some people it is, but exfoliation can actually make it worse. Because if you're exfoliating things, and then it's causing chafing, and then it's getting more inflamed, more irritated, you bet that can cause more pigmentation. So if you have pigmentary issues in the underarm area, what are you supposed to do? Well, I do have some options and some medically backed ingredients and things that can work. But first, we have to talk about the shame of underarm pigmentation and why it's not a bad thing. It is totally normal for certain areas of our body, like our underarms or our groin or our back of the knees, to be a different color. Having pigmentation in these areas is usually caused by hormonal changes, and it's nothing to feel bad about. You do not need to change the color of your underarms. You do not need to bleach your no matter what anybody tells you, okay? Your body is wonderful the way it is. And regardless of how much you try to change the pigment, and regardless of how many products or creams or lotions or treatments or even medical treatments you try, if you don't learn to love and embrace your body and the changes it goes through as it literally protects and carries you throughout life, there's always going to be something else to feel bad for. So as a medical esthetician who has personally struggled with acne for so many years, I thought that when I had clear skin that my life was going to be great. I mean, my skin is relatively clear because I figured it out, but I still break out, and if I'm miserable as because I'm insecure or unhappy, it doesn't matter if my skin has blemishes or not, I'm gonna be a miserable little Whereas when I figured out how to embrace and love my skin, how to understand why it was creating pimples, why it was going through these changes, I got fascinated by the biology and the science of it and learned to love it for what it is. And although I've had a little bit of darkness in my underarms, it's definitely not the same pain or the same discomfort or the same visually that other people have gone through. And while I can't speak for those situations, I can speak from my perspective and say, it doesn't look bad. And for most people, it shouldn't be an issue. It is not something that is putting you in medical danger, and it's honestly proof that your body has changing hormones and it is protecting you and helping to build an amazing human. That being said, there are still some people that want to get rid of it, so let's talk about what can be done. Again, a lot of people look for acids, but this isn't always recommended. If you are going to use an exfoliating acid, use something like mandelic acid, which is gentle. Mandelic acid is an AHA that actually absorbs into the skin superficially and more evenly, so it is a better choice, but in general, it's probably not the best. Now, for me, I have used things like this from topicals. This is great because it has niacinamide and zinc PCA to actually help with oil control and with brightness. However, this does have glycolic and lactic acids. So while this is great for ingrown hairs, and I do use it on my legs and I have put it in my armpits, this isn't something that I would recommend if you have pigmentation in the underarm area. That being said, there are some things that you should absolutely look for. And the first is vitamin C. We know that vitamin C is an antioxidant, but it's also amazing at brightening and to stop pigmentation from happening. It literally inhibits tyrosinase, the enzyme that allows pigment to be created. So if we use vitamin C, especially in areas where that tyrosinase is making melanin, we can kind of put a stop to that. The best thing I would recommend is use a vitamin C that didn't work on your face. Don't go out and buy something new. Literally find something that just wasn't a fit for your face or that is a little too close to expiration and just put it in those underarm areas or in those areas that do get pigmentation. This might not fix everything, but it's definitely a way to repurpose what you already have and to help. One of the best things that I've ever used for pigmentation is a blended serum that has basically all of the actives that help with hyperpigmentation in one. And this one specifically doesn't have a lot of major exfoliants, and this is perfect for any hormonal pigmentation that my skin personally has. This is from Agency, it's the dark spot formula, and this is custom blended to my skin. So what's in mine might not be the same as someone else's, but I love this. This specifically has hydroquinone at 4%, which is prescription only. It has kojic acid, which isn't bad exfoliating, azelaic acid, which can help with pigmentation, but it's not an exfoliating acid the way that most people think of them. And this also has resveratrol, which is an antioxidant that is fantastic for actually your heart health if you ingest it, as well as for your skin. Don't eat your skincare, but like resveratrol is found in grapes. So like, you know, do that. This is a nice fluffy little moisturizer. I find that if I put this under my armpits, it does kind of feel a little bit moist, like a little bit sticky. So I don't do this during the day, but I'm happy to do this at night. And while I'm at it, I just take whatever's extra and I kind of put them on the other areas of my body that I have a little bit of an ouchy honey boo boo or a little bit of discoloration. This is also fantastic for acne marks. You can of course use this on the face, that's what it's meant for. But if you do have pigmentation in this area, this blend for me is perfect. Again, it's prescribed by a physician. Yours is probably going to be different, but look for some of those active ingredients that are non-exfoliating that can literally prevent some of that pigmentation from showing up. And of course, it's a little bit more expensive, but we can't forget IPL. IPL is, yes, intense pulse light, and it's meant to get rid of hair. This is specifically an at-home hair removal device, but IPL can be used to treat areas of pigmentation. And if you use IPL in areas that you have hormonal pigmentation or color differences in the skin, this can absolutely help. IPL has actually been used clinically for things like rosacea. It's also used for varicose veins, like on the legs. And you know, IPL on varicose veins is not as effective as something like getting those varicose veins collapsed and like getting rid of them with like basically a form of in-office treatment like a surgery. But for something that is non-invasive that you can do in a clinic or you can get at home, this is a great option. Now I've tried many IPL devices before. I've tried the Kenzie, I've tried the Ulike. I'm using one Ulike on my toe. I like this one better because the Kenzie was too warm for me. I could use that on my legs, but I couldn't use it in my armpits. This one literally has a snowflake and I can use it right here. Now I've actually not been doing this armpit. I've only been doing this armpit and I've been doing it for hair removal purposes. But if you're someone who's struggling with hair and with pigmentation in this area, and you have the funds, IPL might be perfect for you because you're getting rid of the hair permanently and then you're also helping with some of the pigmentation that hormonal changes or even just chafing might be leaving over. If you're really worried about underarm pigmentation, make sure that you see a doctor, see a derm. There are medical conditions, even things like diabetes, that can lead to changes in certain areas of the body like the armpits, the groins, or even the back of the neck. There's a skin condition called acanthosis nigricans that often looks like a darkening of the back of the neck or even in the armpits, which could actually be related to things like diabetes or other health conditions. So it's really important to get anything concerning checked out by a doctor or derm. But remember that if it is just hormonal changes or pigmentation, if it's not dangerous for your health, it's really nothing to be worried about. And we can sit here and try to change it if we want to, or we can embrace it because it's honestly just our bodies doing what they do best in helping us produce hormones, create skin cells, protect our amazing bodies from the outside world because our skin is literally a barrier, and helping us live through every single day. I hope that this information was helpful. Don't exfoliate your underarms if you're sensitive. Okay? Always remember to stay hydrated, both orally and topically. Reapply that sunscreen, although not in your armpits, because again, I mean, you don't really need it there unless you're laying like this in the sun. But that's a topic for another day. And always be beautiful both inside and out. I love you, and I cannot wait to see you in this next video. Love you guys. Bye.